Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates, and today we continue our British gangster movie lineup with Layer Cake, the movie made by X-Men's Matthew Vaughn and starring of course Daniel Craig a little before he was James Bond. And like there are some moments here you're like, maybe that's where they took inspiration from, not gonna lie.
A lot, yeah. Like his clothes and everything, and like, there's not a lot of shooting or like in this movie, but like when you see him with the gun, like for sure one of the casting directors was just like saw this movie and was like, that's a new James Bond right there.
Yeah. And like also stars early Tom Hardy and the late great Michael Gambon. Of course, we know him now as Dumbledore, and this is the same year he debuted as Dumbledore because he was also in what do you call the movie?
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, thank you for reminding
Yeah.
me. Yeah, and of course he's part of the favorite Harry Potter meme.
Yeah, but it's just weird seeing him as a gangster and without the beard. I was just like,
Yeah.
wow,
About to
that's kind of cool.
have his men Avada Kedavra for Daniel Craig off a building. Yeah. I do like it that he has no name. Like his name and the credits I see is just X.
XX.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he had a name.
Yeah.
The entire movie, I was like, he has a name. It just never occurred to me that they never said it.
Yeah. But yeah, he, as in his words, he is a businessman who just so happens to deal with illegal narcotics, and he is about to retire, but he just steps into a world of just big trouble. Like he's supposed to find the daughter of this gangster, which plays like way later into the story, and you never see the daughter, by the way. At the same time, he deals with Duke and his fuck up, and you're like, that is a fuck up. You just stole from war criminals. How the fuck do you do that?
Which one's Duke again?
Duke is the one who stole the pills from the Serbian criminals. The
You see, like the one with a really like loud like
Wife?
hype man.
yeah, his wife.
Wife.
Yeah.
Okay, that was Duke. I could have sworn like his friend, the one that gave him the gun, was named Duke.
No, that's Gene.
Gene. There we go. My
Yeah.
bad. Because there were so many fucking names. I was like, I
Yeah.
can't keep track. And they're all like very funny names too. Like they're all like monikers. And I was like, I can't keep track of everyone here. Like, but yeah, I love this entire journey because it's just, it's not heavy. It's not heavy like Goodfellas again, or The Irishman, or any other gangster movies that's like,
Yeah.
oh, this life will tear you down kind of deal, which it does for Daniel Craig. But here it was more of like the joy of like seeing how he gets out of trouble.
Yeah.
We're all just like waiting for him to solve it, and then we'll be okay.
Yeah.
But it does spiral down.
Yeah.
You know, like first they're like, "Hey, I know it's not your job. You're just here to make the product and sell it, and you're really good at that.
Yeah.
But I want you to do my job."
Yeah.
I was just like, "What?"
Yeah. He's like, but I'm supposed to get out of this life, and you're just like, that's funny. You do my job. And
Yeah,
he's like, okay.
and like, yeah, Daniel Craig like later on finds out that he do not get out of this job.
Yeah, scot-free at the very least. Like, especially at the end, which we'll get to later. But, like, yeah, he's just trying to unscrew the situation that Duke has put them all in. Because, again, they stole from very dangerous people. And you're like... And it's not... You find out at the end that they're not like, oh, he stole our supply and we're behind schedule. They're just like, how dare you steal from us? And we're going to teach you a lesson for fucking with us. We'll send this assassin that's part of our war criminal band, and he's a very effective assassin. You're like, oh fuck. Like, even when Daniel Craig hires a sniper to outsnipe the sniper, it just goes shit.
It goes horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's not where the blood's supposed to be. Oh god.
Right?
But like, yeah, like, the entire sequence was so funny though. Like when they were like robbing the Russians. I think they were Russians. Serbian.
Yeah.
My mistake. The girl, he just like loses it
Yeah.
and shoots. Was this? She shoots like a person just like checking in on his job.
It's like, hi, boss. Poof. And you're like, oh, well, shit.
But like the Serbian was kind of already freaking her out, like, you've never done this before, little girl. Like,
yeah, it's like, I'm not a little girl. Shut the fuck up. Then yeah, she sprays the poor worker, and you're like, yeah, he's totally right. Jesus Christ. The guy from Pacific Rim is also here.
one?
The scientist. Not
yeah,
not
he
Charlie
was, like,
Day.
one of the he was one of like the gangster cells with dude.
Yeah. He's also in the latest Hunger Games as like this military commander, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good at that.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, like as divisive as we are, I don't know. Wait, didn't we give that one a good score?
Pacific Rim? Or
No,
Hunger Games? Yeah, we gave it a fair score.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was good in that one.
Yeah. But I feel bad for X because he's just walking into more fuck situation when like Morty beats up a random guy and he's like, what the fuck is your beef, man?
Yeah, I didn't understand that, and also I hate that scene, where you just see him eat, and then, by the way, thank you, Morty, for representing us all who hate people who chew with their mouth open. This is what we all want to do to you people, by the way. Deep down in our subconscious, this is what we want to do to you.
Yeah.
If you've seen this movie and you eat with your mouth open, know that the friend beside you who tells you to eat with your mouth closed, that's what he wants to do to you. Yeah. I heard this is a condition that people have, like, if you hear somebody chewing with their mouth open, you just want to be violent with them.
Yeah.
That's a thing. And that is me. And I'm like, yeah, this is a great representation of what we want to do.
Yeah, it's not.
So, anyway.
It's not just 1-2 punches. He's just like literally about to kill the man. And you're like, what the fuck is your problem with this guy? And
It's
even
very relatable.
Yeah.
I was just like, finally, somebody did it. You know, like, but anyway, yeah. And we later find out that, like, back in I think the 80s or like early 90s,
yeah,
that guy, I forgot his name, got was supposed to transport a dead body with him
Yeah.
in the back, but he got knocked out at a stoplight, and then the cop like opens the door to a black
body.
guy with a dead body.
Yeah.
And back in the 80s, that's kind of like a no.
Yeah. And they're like, well, you get 10 years. And he's like, fuck you. But yeah.
That's why when he was like, oh, can you spare me some change? Like maybe 5 quid? And he was like, oh, let's make it 10. You know, make it a nice round number.
Yeah, and he starts like just beating him. We're like, oh, Jesus Christ. And like, yeah, poor X is just running to these situations. It's like, well, I have war criminals to deal with, and I still have to find the daughter, but at least I get some downtime with Sienna Miller, who is with the nephew of Duke. And you kind of find out like later on that Duke gets killed, and you just don't know why. It's like only until the end of the movie you're like, oh, it's because Slasher just wouldn't shut up, just said the wrong thing, and got just capped in the head.
That's what I was like, you idiot.
Yeah, it's like, I will tell the police, and he's just like,
like immediately when I heard that I was like, and then like when we find out who she said it to,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, understandable.
yeah,
Anyway, yeah, he runs into like Duke's nephew,
yeah,
and he's just like wannabe gangster. He was like, he's Q. Funny enough, like Q and James Bond meet each other earlier on.
right,
Uh,
right. Oh
and-
shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he has a bit of romance with this girl, and I'm like, I don't feel it, and they don't really focus on it, so
Yeah.
it's cool.
Like, there's a scene in the hotel room, and you're like, well, X deserves a break, and then it just ends with him not getting a break, and you're like, poor guy.
He gets kidnapped by Dumbledore.
Yeah, and yeah, it is quite jarring if you like grew up with Michael Gambon as Dumbledore your whole life. You're like, oh, he's just like the nicest human being, like the wise teacher of Harry Potter. Here, he's like, I'm gonna fucking cap you in the head. You're like,
Yeah, like here he is. Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
yeah, Exactly, and he drops one big bombshell on X that, hey, your boss is an informant.
Yeah, Jimmy. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Like nothing's going to like X's like way at all. Like you can see this man just been through a lot.
Yeah. I do love the scene when he takes out Jimmy. Like, he doesn't squeeze the trigger until Jimmy's like, ah, fuck.
Looking at him,
Yeah.
and like he just spirals down because it is his first kill. He doesn't kill.
Yeah.
I do love that scene where Gene gives him a gun. He was like, "No, I hate guns." And I don't even want to touch him.
Yeah.
This one's beautiful. Though.
Yeah, and he's just like, and you're like, there's the moment where producers are
Yeah.
like, he's James Bond. But yeah, like, I do love the scene when he meets with Gene after, that Gene's like, yeah, alright, I have something for you, and just knocks him out, starts dumping his head on the ice truck. Like,
and then like, what's his name? Marty?
Morty.
Marty like comes and is like, what the fuck are you beating him up for? And I love that scene where Gene kicks him and Daniel Craig's just like, ah!
He's like, enough, please. And he's like, read the autopsy. And he's like, oh, I don't understand. He's like, it's the gun. It's the same gun I gave him. He starts kicks him again. He's like, why?
You
Why?
didn't pick up the shell, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. Even Morty's like, why did you kill him, you son of a bitch? He's like, wait, please. It's an informant.
Yeah, so like they made him watch it and they're like, alright. I love how there's no sorries
Yeah.
at all. It's just like, alright.
Like, hey man, you know the business he got into. And like, I do love the scene when he does finally confront the sniper with the head of Duke. He's like, I'm sorry I don't have your dirgs, but this is the best I can do. And he's like, alright. He's like, he appears like fucking Batman at night. He's like, turns this way, turns it back. He's like, oh fuck. Oh shit.
Yeah. I love that. I don't know who... he's one of the Serbians, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he this entire scene with like the sniper where he was like, alright, you got a target on him? And I was like, got it. And then it was like, squeeze it now, because like he like brings him up just to confirm that that is the target.
Yeah.
And you just see a blood splatter on Daniel Craig and he's like, the fuck? And that's when you know like the Serbian's an actual threat.
Yeah.
I love it that the Serbians kind of just like earlier on in the movie they were just like, do you want to meet up somewhere? I was like, sure. How about a cup of coffee? Like, alright. Do you know where I live? No. Well, fuck off. Just like,
Yeah.
but I love it that the Serbian has so much patience, because I feel like if it was any other gangster movie, I would have like just straight up just kidnapped Daniel Craig and just threw him off a building.
Yeah. This man's known for like getting the heads of his enemies, and he's not playing around. I'm like, oh, sure. By the time things start to work with X, when he does get the dirgs to give to Michael Gambon, like even that goes to shit because Michael Gambon screws him over, and he's like, you're out of this play forever. And gives him the harsh realities of life, and you're like, that's a good fucking speech, but Jesus Christ. Coming from Michael Gambon, you're like, I thought you were nice. That you only played wise teachers, not fucking ruthless gangsters that will cap you in the head if you looked at them wrong. You get the sense that X prepared for that because he does have his man ambush Michael Gambon's man. You're like, he's
Yeah.
playing the game right.
Yeah, I got a little bit confused here. Like, who he's friends with, I don't understand. Like, I was like, who's his connections? Who are the cops that, like, at the end of the movie?
Yeah.
I forgot that, like, later on they did meet up. But other than that, what's this? Yeah, I love this entire speech with Michael Gambon where he just, like, he promises, like, 3 million.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't give it.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, well, you kind of gave my daughter a bit of trauma, which we never saw, by the way.
Yeah.
And you and Jimmy gave my daughter a little bit of trauma, so this is compensation for it, and I'm letting you off.
Very easy.
With like with a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best you can get out of it.
Like, it seems like X finally gets the life he wants, and he does leave the business to his friends, and you're like, alright, we have like none minutes left, and then he's with Sienna Miller again, you're like, I guess, and then he gets capped on the chest, you're like, what?
not gonna lie, this is the part where I was a little bit divisive. I was like, I don't like this ending.
Yeah. And you're like,
I'm sorry. I just did not like this ending where X just went through so much and then out of nowhere, just bang, I'm sorry, and then like Q runs off. I'm like,
yeah, and you're not even like, maybe he can. Oh my god, it's a lot of blood. That's a shit
Yeah,
ton
like-
of blood.
like you don't see like his friends like coming in like to like rescue him.
Yeah.
They're like there's no like open ending. It was like, did he make it?
Yeah.
You know, after that, like it looks like he actually died
Yeah.
on that, like
Yeah.
Blade Runner style.
Yeah. And you're like, well, they warned him, but yeah, I don't like it either. I'm just like, what the fuck was this everything for then? Okay.
Right?
Shit.
Right? I was like, such a waste of a character. Like, why did you gotta do that?
But aside from that, it's a pretty solid British gangster movie once again, starring Daniel Craig. And you're like, well, I had a fun time right until like the minuscule of the last second. But aside from that, I still have a good time. But like, let's just get to it. What would you rate Layer Cake?
I really like Layer Cake. I would say it's a really good gangster movie on its own, and like everybody played their part. Like I could have sworn it was like when I saw Tom Hardy, I was expecting him to have like a more. That's one thing we haven't seen yet. That's another gangster movie we haven't seen yet. Tom Hardy, he had a where he's like twins.
Yeah. He's the Cray twins. That's another.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I hear it's mixed, but I'm willing to try it.
Yeah, I'm willing to try it too.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, like it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
It was a great like problem-solving movie, and clearly, this is where people were like, "Oh, this might be the next James Bond." And I'm like, I see it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I feel like everybody did their part very well here. Like everybody was like a 10 out of 10, like acting. Everybody did their role like great.
Yeah.
I love the character of Gene.
Yeah.
Like I really do. And like Daniel Craig, even though he's one of those. I prefer this no name more than like the Fight Club's no name.
Yeah.
But yeah, sadly I did not like that ending. I felt like it was a little too abrupt, a little too. I would have been okay with it if it was like a little, like open ended. Like you just hear one of them say call 911 or some shit.
Yeah.
You know, call the ambulance. And I would have been like, okay, maybe. But here it just looks like he actually died. And I was just like, man, then what was all that stress for?
Right.
Like, he didn't even want anything to do with, like, he just wanted to, like, retire.
Yeah. What's your score? I'm sorry.
Oh, right, I didn't give it a score.
Yeah.
I wanted to give it, like, a 9 out. I wanted to give it a 9, but I gotta bop it down to an 8 because of that ending. Like, everything was great, everything was perfect. But once we got to the ending, I was just like,
Yeah.
eh. I got really attached to this character too, so I was like a little bit bummed out that he just died, like out of nowhere. So yeah, it's an 8 out of 10. It could have been a 9, but it's an 8.
Yeah. I'll give it a very high 8 with the only caveat of like I really don't like the ending because you're like, there's not even like a setup. You don't see like Q being like, ah shit, Michael Gambon's making me do this. It's just like,
You're right.
bang, I'm sorry, and he just fucks off, and you're like, what the fuck was that for? What?
No, or like no, I think the reason why he shot him is because he stole his girlfriend.
Oh, you don't? You think it's more just as petty as like you stole my girl? How could you?
That's why I think it's so stupid because it's like he sees him with a girlfriend. He's like, fuck, you know.
Yeah, I just realized like I just murdered the man. I'm so sorry. But
Yeah.
aside from that, everyone, like you said, everyone did their part well. From Daniel Craig to Michael Gambon to like the lesser-known British actors. Even Sienna Miller, even though there's like zero chemistry between her and X, you're like, I'm really not buying this. I'm really not.
Yeah.
But she does a great job as well. She tries her best. They both try their best to make this work. But yeah, it's just the ending. You're like, I could do it with a better one. And unfortunately, there's no alternative cuts. So you're like, well, shit, I'm stuck with this one. Oh well. Aside from that, I really have a good time with this movie. Like I think it's one of Matthew Vaughn's not comic book best movies. I know that sentence doesn't sound right, but like he did Kick-Ass. He did like the early X-Men with James McAvoy, and I'm like, I kind of like this a bit more than some of his comic book movies. Like, I kind of prefer this over Kick-Ass and Wanted. That's the other movie he did. Right.
Oh my god, I forgot he did one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Matthew Vaughn. Please go back to this.
Yeah. He did Kingsman. I do love Kingsman a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I could tell like we're all like the recipes and the formula that he has when creating like the future movies that he has, like the Kingsman and like X-Men not Days of Future Past.
First Class.
Like First Class.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that is very Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah.
And I want to see more of this. I really do. Like something a little bit more grounded, a little bit more not so comic booky.
Yeah. But yeah, what's to the audience watching? What's your favorite Daniel Craig movie? That's not James Bond. Whether it's this one, Road to Perdition, and of course the Knives Out movies, which is about to be a trilogy. I don't know if you've seen the cast for it, but
I saw the cast.
yeah.
I'm a little bit excited now. I'm like, okay, after the Glass Onion, I was like, I kind of like the story of like Benoit Blanc.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And like rewatching Knives Out, I don't hate it as much.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just a little bit salty because the guy who directed it,
Last
fucking
Jedi.
ruined Jurassic Park.
Huh. He did Last Jedi. What are you talking about? But
Oh.
you were on the right track until he said Jurassic Park. I was like, when the fuck did that guy
He's
have...
the one who did.
No.
He's the one who did Dominion.
No, that's
No.
the other third director who lost out the gig to J.J. Abrams in the last movie.
All right.
Yeah. I can't forget the director's name, but there's one movie I like, which is Looper. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not here or there. But yeah. That's been our video on Layer Cake. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Maybe we do more future British gangster movies next time. Maybe we can even, if we have enough time, we can talk about Peaky Blinders and sum it all up in a nice package. Because I still haven't finished it because I don't want it to ever end. I'm on episode 4 though, so I'm near the end.
I thought like episode 4 of season 1. I was like, what?
No, of the last season. I'm already at the Anya Taylor-Joy seasons, you know.
Alright.
But yeah, if you like our videos, please leave them a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see your best and funniest moments, Spotify to yours on the go. In the video, I'm Enzo from Letterboxd and Zoda's Voices on TikTok. Where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me at JohnJM_ on Instagram. It is my artifact.
And until the next one, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.